What is up, my ducks and drakes? Welcome to the Crowded Lake. Today we are reading Our Song, a Sadie-Tides fanfic by Ineedofsleep on Wattpad. If you'd like to check out the book or the author for yourself, look at the links in the description. I'm sorry if during this reading I sound congested, it's because I am. With that, we'll be getting right into Chapter 15. You Like Him. Roman's Point of View. Hey, Papa! Remus was speaking to his phone after Father hadn't come pick us up. I already tried calling Dad, but he said he was working at the cafe tonight. Remus, what is it? Remus put the phone on speaker and held it between us. We need a ride from school, Remus answered. Father mumbled something before talking. Sorry, boys, I'm being held up. Why don't you guys go to the cafe? I'll be there to pick you and your dad up. I sighed and looked at Remus. He shrugged but didn't say anything. Sure. Love you, Father. I have deep regard for you two, too. I laughed at my father's strange usage of words and hung up. You text Dad. I gotta go and grab something. Remus ran off before I could respond. We started texting. Roman. Remus and I are going to the cafe. Patton. Okie dokie, kiddo. See you in a bit. You gotta send a heart, too. Roman sent a heart. I put away my phone and waited for Remus. A minute later he came running and nearly tackled me. I rolled my eyes and stood up to talk to the cafe. During the walk, Remus slid his headphones on and ignored me. Why you gotta be so rude? I leaned in a bit and faintly heard the noise of the Scooby-Doo theme song. Very different from the last time I heard what he was listening to. Annoying sibling mode? Activated. Remus? Remus? Brother? Twin? The only blood relative I know of? Remus. He looked at me and took off his headphones. You say something? I'm bored. And? I don't know. I just want to have a conversation with my favorite brother. I'm your only brother. The point is, I'm bored and tired of you ignoring me. Say anything. 3.14159, this is pi, followed by 2653589, circumference over diameter 7/9 and 323. OMG, can't you see? 8462643, and now we're on a spree. 38 and 32, now we're blue. Oh, who knew? 7,950, and then a 2.8. 8 and 41. So much fun. Now I want to run. 971693999. Then 3751. Halfway done. 058. Now don't be late. 209. Where's the wine? 74. It's on the floor. Then 94459. 230. We gotta go. 78. We can't wait. 1640628. We're almost near the end. Keep going. 62. We're getting through. 0899 on time. 8628034. There's only a few more. 82. Then 53. 42. 11. 0. 7. And 67. We're done. Was that fun? Learning random digits so you could brag to your friends. Never mind. Don't talk to me until we get to the cafe. I said in shock to whatever the hell just happened. I opened the door for my lovely twin and walked into the cafe behind him. He turned and went to sit at the table while I went to the counter where Dad was working. Hey, kiddo, you want anything? Just a hot chocolate for me, and I guess just a black coffee for Ree. He nodded and turned to start making our drinks. I started walking to the table Remus was sitting at before realizing he was talking to someone. Oh, hey, Olive. I didn't expect to see you here. I smiled at our childhood neighbor. She smiled back and looked a bit nervous. What's up? Oh, hi, Ro. I'm just a bit nervous, and it's a bit hard to focus on stuff, even with my meds. Olive has ADHD. She takes meds to help her focus, but she must be really nervous right now. What? The author telling you what I did to that Elmo doll? Remus asked. Why is he like this? Stop laughing or I'll punch you so hard your vertebrae will come out like a Pez dispenser. Remus yelled at nothing. Seriously, why? No, but edgy Space Prince did. Honestly not surprised. But it isn't that. I met my soulmate the other day and I'm meeting up with her. What is that? Did Remus infect her with some nonsense? Wait, she met her soulmate. About time you met them, I congratulated, then proceeded to bombard her with questions. What are they like? What pronouns do they use? They cute? Do I know them? She laughed and seemed to have spotted someone out the window. I looked outside and saw the new kid walking with someone. They turned into the cafe before the person saw us and smiled nervously. The person whispered something to the new kid before walking towards us. Oh, that's her, Olive whispered something a little more confident and focused. Good luck, Remus and I whispered before turning around to our own table. I noticed the dim interest looking around a bit before turning to walk out of the cafe. Apparently so did Remus, because he called him over to our table before he walked out. Hi, Remus said to Demetrius. Sat down. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself earlier. I'm Remus Duke, Kingsley, fourth wall destroyer and leader of the Elmo cult. How has your last 24 hours of your life been? The kid seemed to be confused and didn't answer. It was the second that I actually got a good look at him. He had a burn on the right side of his face, one yellow and one brown eye, and some dark brown hair stuck out from his yellow beanie. Demetrius Dallin. Huh. I'm sorry, Elmo Colt? He asked. Remus laughed the same way he did when I mentioned it to Emil when I just sighed. Oh, it's nothing. So, how'd you end up in this town? I quickly tried to change the topic. My uncle asked if I could watch his sons while he was doing some business stuff. I started school here because that's something the government forces people to do, and I'm lazy enough to not enroll in online classes, he answered. You know, Virgil and Remy's dad is like a super criminal man dude, right? Remus inquired. Demetrius looked like he was about to answer before Dad interrupted. Hey, kiddos! Got your drinks right here and water for your friend. Thanks, Padre. Thanks, Dad. Later on that evening, Demetrius was about to leave. What you doing later? I heard Remus ask Demetrius when Father texted he was finally off of work. Not much, but I do have a meetup with someone tonight. How? You just got to this town. I've been here my whole life, and I'm still the one and lonely Roman. You guys are weird. He paused and checked his phone and started getting up. I'll catch you guys later. I gotta stop the earth from exploding. Later on, at home, I stared into Remus's eyes as he was drawing the sketchbook. He seemed lost. You like him, I stated before sitting up, crisscross applesauce on the floor. He looked at me and raised an eyebrow. What the hell are you talking about? Demetrius, you like him, I restated. He hesitated before going back to his drawing. Sure, and our dads are the evilest people alive. You can deny it all you want, but I know when my twin brother has a crush on someone. The same thing happened in grade 2, you know. Introduce yourself in a random way, find out a way to spend time with them, and you're always less Remus than usual. I'm just stating the facts. Whatever you say, dickface, he sighed. But if you were right, which you are most certainly not, he probably has a soulmate, and I have one of my own, so it doesn't matter. Speaking of soulmate, why is it that you'll only talk about it with me? Does my brother actually love me? I fake gasped. You wish, fuckface. And my business is my business, and not your business. It's the same if I hooked up with someone. I have the right to keep my stuff private. But you wouldn't. I groaned and flopped backwards on the floor. True. He shrugged and put down his pencil. Look what I drew. It's a dog being stuffed into a sausage. I don't want to see your messed up drawings. I groaned again. Fine, then I'll show them to someone else. I raised an eyebrow this time. Dad said they don't find your drawings you make inappropriate. I won't let you expose those drawings to my friends, and no one at school knows you draw. Who can you possibly show it to? People? I looked him dead ass in the eyes. I stared at him for a hit before a shimmer of yellow flashed in his green eyes. You met your soulmate? I asked. He froze. We sat there staring at each other for who knows how long in complete silence. Roman, Remus, dinner is done. Father opened our door and looked at us. What are you doing? Remus found his soulmate. I jumped up and gave my twin a hug, then slapped him. When did this happen and why haven't you told me? Father seemed to be holding back a laugh. Don't hit your brother. He walked over and sat next to Remus. Do you like your soulmate, Remus? Reed pulled his knees to his chest and shrugged. You don't know if you like them? He nodded. Father seemed to think for a moment before calling up Dad. What's wrong? He asked as he walked into the room. Do you remember what happened when we found out we were soulmates? I perked at this question. They never really talk about when they met or found out they were soulmates for some odd reason. Yeah, why? I found my soulmate, Remus mumbled. Dad looked at him and started smiling before seeing his lost expression and walking towards us. Oh, what's wrong, kiddo? Dad asked softly. I don't think they'll like me, and technically we haven't talked face to face. I don't want him to see me or hear what others have to say about me. Dads looked at each other before looking at me for an explanation. I shrugged, even though I know what he was talking about. The people at school think he's demented, or a psychopath, or has mental issues. Well, how about I tell you a story? Dad took his hands and smiled. Remus nodded and looked up at him. When I first met your pa, he was so focused on getting a good education and pleasing his parents. Father winced at the mention of his parents. He wasn't really concerned about soulmates. I moved into town and he caught me singing our song in the music room after school. It took a while to get used to, being almost opposites and all. But we live each other, no matter what, and I'm sure your soulmate will feel the same. I looked at Remus. A faint smile was plastered on his face, and he seemed to think for a moment before speaking. Can we hear your song? I looked at them. They looked at each other and smiled. Then got up and held each other. They danced around the room as Remus and I watched them. I hope Virgil and I could be like that someday. I already am making progress from him actually talking to me. I looked at Remus, and he had an expression I've never seen on his face before. Calmness? Peacefulness? Strange. Chapter 16. You like him. Virgil's point of view. School passed by fairly normal after that thing with Roman D and Remus! I know his name now. D told us to head back to the house while he met up with his friend or some shit. So here we are. I'm sitting on the top of the fridge eating Fruit Loops while Remy blasted Teenage Dream from the living room. I don't see why D doesn't trust us. Then D texted, "I'ma be late. Those people from the hallway want to talk or something." I texted back, "K." C texted then, "K? What's going on?" I left him unread. I put my phone back down and continued eating my cereal. This is fun. Wish I could spend all my life up here eating cereal. But life isn't like that, and I have to get down eventually. And by down, I mean people just have to call you for a moment. You're finally enjoying life for the first time in forever. A chick too was calling to see Father flashing on screen. Remy, turn down that damn song, Father's calling. He perked his head up and immediately turned the music off. I put the phone on speaker to allow him to hear. Hello? Hello, Virgil. Is Remington with you? Yeah, I'm here, Remy said as he crawled to the top of the counter beside the fridge. I'm just calling to check on you guys. Is Demetrius doing his job? Yep, he's in the bathroom right now, I said, like a liar. Is there anything you need? As I said before, I'm just checking on you two. How has school been? I looked at Remy and he just shrugged. Father's acting weird. It's been fine. Nothing exciting. I decided not to tell Father about my soulmate or anything else for that matter. I didn't want to explain what happened. I heard some muffled speaking through the phones before Father spoke again. I have to go. Goodbye. Later, Remy and I said. Remy hopped off the counter and started walking back to the living room. I sighed and started climbing off the fridge. Yo, Rem, want to watch a movie? Sure, what movie? He flopped down on the couch and turned the TV to Disney+. Lion King, Big Hero 6. I was thinking Maleficent or Ratatouille. He looked at me. I looked at him. And he looked at me. And I looked at him. We are now watching Ratatouille. Well, I don't want to watch Big Hero 6. I'm older than the author's favorite, so I get to pick what PG movie we're watching. I'm closer to needing a parental guidance, so I pick which PG movie we're watching. I'm closer to being a parental figure, so I give you guidance. I get to pick the movie. Demetrius is younger than both of us, so he needs the most guidance. So why don't we call him to see what movie he wants to watch? Fine. I pulled out my phone and texted Dee. I said, Rem's being an asshole, and we're gonna murder each other. Unrelated, but where's the key to the gun cabinet? Dee texted back. Stop! I'll be there in a few. I handed my phone to Remy so he could read the text. He flicked me on the forehead, and we both laid on opposite sides of the couch, glaring at each other the whole time. Time skipped when Demetrius got home. What the fuck? I looked behind me to Demetrius, who had happened to just gotten back from whatever the hell he was doing. Sup, babes, you want a bagel? Remy responded, holding out one of his bagels to Dee. I continued to eat mine and just turned back to the movie. I watched as the poor guy's dad die right in front of him before Dee stood in front of the TV, blocking my view. What? I groaned. Can't you see we're watching The Good Dinosaur? I can see that. I can also see you two eating bagels and popcorn like you didn't just text me a few minutes ago saying you're going to murder each other. He motioned his hand to the popcorn bowl and bag of bagels and the toaster sitting in front of the coffee table. Yes, we brought the toaster to the living room for our bagels. We were having trouble picking a movie. Then we saw The Good Dinosaur. Did you actually think we're going to kill each other? Remy explained. We also wanted bagels, so we brought the toaster out here too. I added on. No, move, you're blocking the movie. He sighed and did a weird hand motion as he sat in the chair next to the couch. You know sign language? Later on, the movie ended. I was a crying mess and Remy was sobbing into a pillow. I looked over at Dee to see him completely void of any emotions. He stood up and grabbed the now empty popcorn bowl and what was left of the bagels. How could he be so heartless? A few minutes after Remy and I composed ourselves and helped Dee clean up the living room, the three of us sat in a triangle on the floor. Both of them were doing something on their phone while I sat there. I'd be scrolling through Tumblr or Pinterest by now, but I've seen most of the horrors that the internet can make. I sighed and flopped backwards, so I was lying down. Rem, truth or dare? Dare, he answered and put down his phone. Dee looked up. I dare you to dress in your sluttiest outfit and tune down the street screaming, I'm gay. He looked at me and stood up. Later on, he was done with the dare. Dee and I were laughing at the video Dee took of Remy running down the street while Remy changed in the bathroom. Remy came out wearing a plain black shirt and ripped black jeans. I calmed myself down and gestured for Remy to ask next. Dee, truth or dare? Truth. Why are you always wearing that damn beanie? Dee sighed and took off his yellow beanie to reveal really messy hair and, oh, is that a fucking snake? This is Seal. He held out the snake in his hands, right in front of us. It was only a few inches long, yellow, and had beady red eyes. He put his beanie back on and continued holding the small snake in his hands. Any more secrets you'd like to share? Remy said, waving his arms around. We only all stayed silent for a few moments before he spoke up again. I like someone who will probably ditch me for their soulmate, and is a bitch, so won't fucking tell me if he even has a soulmate. I looked at the ground, ignoring Remy's comment about whoever the fuck N was. There's no use in keeping this from Remy. I have all Mom's jewelry in a box in my room, and the eyeshadow I wear was hers. I felt she was trying to escape, but I wouldn't let them. I'm not crying again today. I didn't want to look at Remy in fear of what might be going through his head. So instead, I looked to Dee if he was going to share anything else. He seemed to look at the clock on the wall before standing up and walking across the room. It's been more than 8 hours. I might as well tell you guys instead of trying to find something to bury myself in. He took off his beanie and laid it on the couch, putting a seal in it, and took off his jacket. He then took off his shirt. I gotta take this off. Don't tell any secrets till I get back. Later on. Hey, Remy? I looked up from the mac and cheese Dee made for us two to see what Dee was going to ask. You said you had a crush on someone. What if they're your soulmate? That's what usually happens in those fanfics. I rested a nervous glance at Remy. He stiffened and sat up as straight as a gay boy can. He let out a chuckle and started scratching his arms, a thing both of us do when we're nervous. He's not my soulmate. Isaac. Remy, you don't have to talk about it. It's fine, Virg. Isaac was my soulmate. He's gone. There were 100 emotions in his eyes as he said that. I actually lost 2 people that day. That's enough. I stood up and walked over to Remy. He leaned his head against my chest as I gave him a small hug. Dee, you said you met your soulmate. What are they like? I've only met them 2 times, but they seem nice. They're shy and self-deprecating, but so am I. He laughed a bit. Any crushes on anyone else? I asked. I don't know. Feeling weird, but there's one weirdo that makes me feel weird. Who is it? Remy lifted his head and practically escaped my hug. I want to know who I'll have to talk to if they break your hearts. We all laughed. But seriously, who is it? The weird one that screamed in the hallway, maybe. He picked at his food as he said that. I looked at Remy and thought about it. Remus and Demetris. Weird, but strangely cute. You definitely like him. I smirked. But you have a soulmate. Still waiting to hear you sing, by the way. Then again, you did say something about who you like being your soulmate or whatever. Ooh, yes, let's hear your song. Remy jumped out of the chair and out of my hug. Great, he's taller than me again. Dee laughed. Fine, but it's kind of depressing. Well, here's my temporary cure for depression. Chuck it in the fucking bucket and move on. Remy laughed. Demetris took a breath before singing. He sung with his beautiful voice. The boys just looked up in utter awe. Wow, this really has been an incredible school year. Chapter 17. Sign Up. Roman's Point of View. I didn't get no sleep because of y'all. Y'all ain't never gonna sleep because of me. I shot out of bed to see Remus clanking pots and pans by the end of my bed. He stopped as soon as he saw I was up. Oh good, you're awake. So's the rest of the people in this house. Father opened the door and grabbed the pans out of my twin's hands. I get 1 day every week off of work, and I don't appreciate being woken up in ridiculous ways. Who's hurting my children? Dad came in holding a pillow. It was Remus, I sighed. Time to start the day. Come on, go. Remus laughed. We walked to school to see a small crowd of people around a message board. I looked at Remus and shrugged. What's going on? I walked over to the crowd and tried pushing through the damn high schoolers. But they could be rough. Remus tried but couldn't get any further than I can. Can we try getting help? He asked. No, it may have worked for Thor and Loki, but there's no way in hell it'll work for us in the real world. Again. He looked at me and raised an eyebrow. What if I'm Loki this time? I sighed. There's no way I'm getting out of this. I wrapped my arms under his and started limping towards the crowd. Get help! My brother's hurt! There were a few people that looked at us and moved a bit. A few that looked surprised, and some that just sighed. I'm guessing some people were surprised that we're related. Worth a shot. I shrugged and dropped Remus. What's going on? A boy stepped forward. He was blond, muscular, looked like the typical white boy. Chad. Another stepped out. This one had brown hair, blue eyes, and was just as muscular as Chad. Brad. And that last one, light brown hair, almost dirty blonde, tan skin, sports attire. Kyle. Kyle stepped in front of the other two. A singing competition to raise money for the animal shelter. My boyfriends and I just put up the sign. I saw what happened at lunch that one time. You should sign up, Roman. I thanked him and held up Remus as the three of them walked away. So what is it? He asked. A singing competition to help get money. Sounds kind of interesting. Of course you think it's interesting. You didn't get stuck in a band. I laughed and waited for the crowd to become less crowded. I walked up to the sign-up sheet and saw quite a few people already signed up. What the heckity heck if I've absent went back? When did high schoolers start having confidence in themselves? I scanned the list of names to see if there's anyone I knew. Emil, Thomas, Joan, Talon. Most of these people are in my drama club. I continued to look through. Demetrius, Virgil, Remy. Oh, I'm definitely signing myself up. And Remus, too. I looked over to see Remus talking with Dee and Remy. He'll thank me later. I quickly signed our names on the bottom and looked at the time. Well, I gotta get to class. I sat down in a homeroom and doodled on a paper while waiting for other people to show up. I looked up as a few people started coming through the door, but one stuck out, of course. My soulmate walked to the door and immediately came to sit in his seat behind me. I turned around to see him writing something in his notebook. Hey, Virgie. Don't call me that. Fine, what you writing? Words. He lifted his notebook and showed me a paragraph of nothing but the word words. What a few. What do you want, Roman? Just seeing if you're finally warming up to me. Looks like you somewhat tolerate me since you're answering me. He rolled his eyes and went back to writing what I presume to be more words. Anyway, I saw your name on the singing competition sign-up sheet. He looked up with a panicked expression. What singing competition? The paper that Chad, Brad, and Kyle put up in the message board. Singing competition for the animal shelter? Your name was on it. I didn't sign up for any... God damn it, Remy. I'll have to cross it out later. So he didn't put his name on it? I guess that made sense. He didn't seem like the kind of person who'd want to sign up for this sort of thing willingly. Is that all you wanted to ask about? Nah, I have more questions. One more question. He sighed and looked to me to continue talking. Did it hurt when you crawled out of hell? What? That's not how pickup line goes. You calling me a demon or some shit. 'Cause you are smoking hot. I smirked. He thought about it for a second and laughed. Did I ever mention I'm gay? That's so stupid. Props for making me laugh, though. I smiled and looked to the front of the classroom. Still no teacher? The second bell rang already, though. A little bit later, there was still no teacher. Some people whispering about where she might be or what to do since nobody's there. Things like, what do we do? Did she die? And I'm going to tell her to go to the office for a hall pass when she comes back, were amongst these whispers. Finally, the principal came in. Everyone quiet down, he said. I know you're all probably wondering why you have no teacher in here. I'll explain in a bit, but for now, I'm going to ask you to move out to the football field while we check this room. Even more questions were going about, but the principal didn't answer any and asked us again to go out to the football field. Yo. I felt a tap on my shoulder and turned to see Virgil. This happen often? Nope. First time that I know of. It's probably nothing. He nodded and fell back into the crowd of classmates. We walked out to see another class sitting at the tables. The principal led us to them and had us sit down. Some people went up and asked about what was going on, and someone quickly stopped them. Stop annoying these bitches. You'll learn what the fuck is going on as soon as someone fucking gets me a frappuccino. Some kid took out one of those glass Starbucks bottles and handed it to Remy. He took a sip and turned back to everyone who was patiently staring at him. What? Y'all actually think I knew what was going on or something? I just got here 2 weeks ago. I don't know what the fuck is going on, and that damn Arthur isn't telling me anything goddamn good. Yeah, come down. Hi, I'm Willow from the animal shelter. Is that the girl Olive met up with yesterday? Your principal asked me to come talk about our singing competition while your school sorted out what's happening. Does everybody know what's happening? Shortly after the other two high school classes were brought out here, and Olive introduced herself again, someone raised their hand. What's happening with the classrooms? That I don't have an answer for. I was just asked to come talk to you guys while they handled it. Another person raised their hand. Well, they asked someone from the animal shelter. What does the animal shelter need to raise money? What's going on? Soon a bunch of people were asking questions, and Olive looked to be slowly trying to hide in the coat she was wearing. I was about to step in, like the Prince Charming I am, but someone got to her before I could. Calm the hell down. You guys aren't in elementary anymore. She knows just as much as us. Let her talk. Demetrius was standing in front of her, with his arms in a protective manner. Yeah, shut the fuck up. Let her speak or I'll burn all of you and build a sandcastle out of your ashes, or do to you what my cult did to Elmo. Remus was standing on the table now. Remus, get down, you're gonna hurt yourself, I heard Emil say from the other end of the table. Everyone stopped talking while the two people that stood up for Olive sat back down. I noticed Remus staring a little longer than he should at him, and immediately started planning their wedding. Thanks. To answer some of those questions, animal shelter needs more money for food and water and other things needed to care for the different animals we have. Our volunteer that day, Chad, who goes to the school, suggested a fun way to get our youth to help raise money. The volunteer manager, your superintendent, and a randomly selected student will be judging, while whoever signed up sings any song they want. We'll have a donations jar for people to put their donations at in the front of the local theater. Of course, you don't have to be a part of this if you don't want to, she said the last sentence quickly and nervously. I looked to Virgil sitting at the table beside mine. You still gonna cross your name out? That a challenge? Or do you think I'm a heartless demon that's gonna give up on innocent animals? I smirked. I guess he's not backing out of this now. Oh, what's happening? Joan leaned in from where he was talking to Thomas. I think Roman just challenged Virgil to a singing battle. A girl from another table, Valerie, I think her name was, whispered. I have a better idea. Remy walked over and leaned against Virgil's table. Y'all have to do this together. Whoever backs out first gets to choose a punishment. What if neither of them back out? Joan asked. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I don't think Virgil does either. Wanna bet? Remy asked. I say Virg is gonna back out. Nah, Roman's gonna back out. Remus joined in front of them across the table. Pretty soon the whole grade was getting on this, and a few other students from different grades that overheard. They were signing papers and everything. On the paper for Virgil backouts, Remy bet $5, Thomas bet $3, Jordan bet $10, Liz bet $5. If Roman backs out, Remus bet $3, Demetrius bet $6, Valerie bet $10, Quill bet $5, Marcus bet $1, Maggie bet $15, Joe bet $7. Neither back out. Joan bet $5, Henry bet $4, Jacob bet $2, Emil bet $6, Talon bet 50 cents. What the fuck?